Hello and welcome to another installment of building a website from scratch. In this episode we're going to be looking at building another plugin, this time for our projects, and what that's going to end up doing is giving us these categories here. We're going to feature an image and a title, and it'll click through to a categories page and display page categories on the front page. And we'll also have a projects page with something a bit more than projects in it, and we're going to be doing that with the help of our dear friend the builder plugin. So let's get into it, and I guess the first thing we need to do is create a plugin. So we've already got one we made in previous episodes for employment. Let's create this one, and that one's going to be called projects. Just unlocked the caps lock. That's more like it. It's pre-filled a lot of this stuff out, which is kind of useful, and I'm going to go for tasks as my icon, and description, I'll just call that projects plugin. And homepage URL, and format it properly. If you're going to do a shameless plug, you might as well do it right. Oh, homepage format isn't valid, of course. Yeah, I forgot the dot in there. Getting off to a fine start. Right, it's only uphill from here, folks. Next thing we need to do is set up our database. So let's do that. I have it already sort of started, so I'm going to have a projects one, and need an ID for that. It's nicely filled out. We'll need a title. And what else are we going to need? We're going to need a slug. We'll need a description. No, I'll do excerpt first. Then we'll do a description. What else are we going to need? And is published, so we can have some sort of sitting in draft mode ready to go. And why not add a is promoted as well. And what else is going to be? Our category ID, because this is going to have a category. Right, let's fill these bits out. Title is going to be of type text. Slug will also be of type text, so it doesn't need to be any longer than about 190 characters. Excerpt will be text. Yeah, these should be string. What am I talking about? Yeah, that's better. Description should be text. Is published will be a boolean. So is promoted will be a boolean. Category ID is going to be an integer, and we'll make it the same type as this one. So this will be unsigned. We'll make all these fields nullable, so we don't get issues when we try to update empty fields. And what else do we need? We need timestamps. Here we go. If I hit save on that, it'll creates the migration file. This is absolute magic, this stuff. There we go. So there's the migration. It looks good to me. And and save and apply, and that'll create the table in the database. Also need a table for our project, so let's do that. Add projects, going to be projects categories, and we need an ID, we need a title, slug, and might not need an excerpt for this. I'll put it in anyway, we can take it out later if we find we don't need it. Description. And what else do we need? Is published. And so let's fill these out. So these are going to be of type string, because we don't need anything more than about 190. String as well for this one. Excerpt will be text, and so a description. I'm probably steering right at it. There it is. And is published will be Boolean. And we'll make these nullable. And add some timestamps. Save and apply. So let's run those migrations. Excellent. Okay, time to do our models. Now we've got two models in this one. We've got a model for categories. Category singular. Category singular spelled correctly. Has timestamp support, and it's based on the table categories. Yep. And the other one we want is the add a model for our projects. So project, that's going to be based on the project. Add timestamp support, and okay. Right, what we need to do now is add our images. And we're going to have a thumbnail, and we're going to have a featured image. And how do we do that? Well, that's in the documentation. And you'll see here we've got an attach one, so I'll just grab that and go to code and copy that. So this is going to be it's not going to be an avatar, it's going to be a thumbnail. And we'll leave the model exactly as it is. And we also need another array item for featured images. Okay, let's just tidy that up a little bit. Throw that over there. I'm just going to copy that because we need exactly the same code for our projects, because it's going to have exactly the same types of files attached to it. And we'll do a format of that. So what we'll have are featured, we'll have a thumbnail and a featured image as well. Next thing to do after this is set up our relationships between our models. Because what we've got a project, and that project is going to have a category, and the category is going to have multiple projects, so it's going to be a one-to-many relationship, and we can see that in the documentation. If we go to relationships, here we go, we've just got a one-to-many. Now has many. Let's go, we'll just copy that and bring that over back to our, and so our categories, our category has many, could have comments, but it's going to have many projects. And of course we need to make this model the correct one, and what we'll do, I'll just grab the namespace from up here, copy that, paste down to there. I need to finish that off. It's going to be this project model here, and that's of course is going to be project. So there we go, we've got a has each category has many projects, and of course a project will belong to a category. And if we go back to our documentation, we can define the inverse. It's a nice simple one, and so we can use the simplest version of it, so it's a belongs to. And if we go back to, alright, let's start building out our form. And what we've got here is, we'll start with our title, just going to be a type text. Start typing that out, and it finds it, and call that title. Move over to slug. That's also going to be of our type text. We've got slug, and call that slug. And of course you want to auto generate that. So let's head to our advanced section, and it's going to be a preset. It's going to be take the preset from the title field and turn that into a slug. Next up is our excerpt, and that's a rich text. There we go, and excerpt. And we'll make that small and span that across the whole width. We've also got description, which is going to be the same kind of thing. Rich editor. There's the description. Give it a title. Size, we'll make that larger. And of course that's going to span across the full width of the page. And now let's add our images. So we've got an image, got a file widget, which is down here. And that's going to be the name thumbnail. Remember we made those file attachments in our model. So that's why I'm putting that value in there. And it's type file load. It's going to be a type of image, because this provides us with this with a different widget. We'll make that 120 across. Now this size has to do with the size that's displayed on the back end, not the actual size that's going on to your website. So this is more for the back end purposes. So just don't get too panicked about making this too small. And so that's that one done. And we also need another one for our featured image, which is going to be, there we go, file upload, and featured image. Image, and change that from the file upload mode to image mode, and we'll make that 600 across because that's going to be the wide image up the top. And we need to add a published switch in there, so go to our control, and that's going to be this published, and there we go, and we'll save that. So that's our fields for our categories done. Then we'll do our lists. I'm just going to add all the database columns. Get rid of that one. Now we're not going to need excerpt, so I can delete that. Not going to need description. Publish will be handy, and probably don't need those. So that's that one sorted. So what has that done? Let's have a look at our code, and we'll see in our projects here, we've got updates, and in our models folder we've got the category, which is what we've done here, and these are the YAML files that have been created, and this is our columns for our list. So it's going to show our ID and slug and is published, and fields, everything's sort of listed out in our fields here. Right. So let's create our first one, which will be text and title and title. And let's just save that. Speaking of saving, how about we save some time? Right, okay, let's get a little something to try here. Now, in our category, we've got a fields YAML file here, and our project's created a fields YAML file. Title, span, auto, etc, etc. If we go to here, same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab all this text from here, and in our projects I'm just going to replace the project thing. Save, and let's see if this has worked. Now we'll come back to here. I'll just close this off and reopen it. Yes, look at that. That saved you watching me type. Now we do need to add a category in here, so let's do that. We're after a relation. That's what we're looking for. And that relation is going to be category. Now it does come up with category ID, but that often doesn't work. I just find that if we just keep it as category, that seems to reduce the chances of errors happening. And let's have a look at our label. Instead of name, it's going to be title, because that's going to be our kind of main field, and we've got a description. There we go. We'll save that. And in our builder, we're on our controllers. We need to add two controllers. We've got a controller for projects. This is our main one, and that's going to be based on the project model, and it's going to be so that we've got the two links here. So the main one, which is up the top and down the side, so I'll make it the side menu, list behavior and form behavior, and we'll do the same for categories, and that's going to use the category controller, categories menu, list and form controller behavior. And let's go back to our menu. We should be able to make that projects, yes. This one, if we start typing categories, yep, we'll find that. And this top one up here, make that projects as well. Let's see if what we've done works. If we click here, projects, that brings us to our projects page. Yep, these are our projects here. There's nothing in there, of course. And we can also define categories. So let's just test this out. So we'll create a category. Houses. It's created the slug. We'll just leave that all blank at the moment. And let's just add a thumbnail. So that's given us our front thumbnail. The same thing with featured image. I'll just add a featured image in here. So it's featured image for home. So it's and that's just uploaded that. And you'll see here 120 across, 600 across here. That's why I've done that, just so it sort of gives us a greater sense of what the image is going to look like. So we'll save and close that. And let's look at creating a project. Okay, so we'll call that project 1. And we'll leave that information aside. I'm just gonna, oh yep, we've got houses, so it's already pre-filled from our categories, so that all works. Except we've got an image here which says unknown column description in projects. Oh, I spelt that incorrectly. Quickest way to fix that, we'll go to our category fields YAML, and yes, there we go. Description is spelt incorrectly. because I did a copy and paste job, I've probably done it wrong in category as well, so let's just double check that. And yes. Now let's try. It's worked now. Fantastic. So there you go. We've created our own plugin using our friend the builder plugin to scaffold out a lot of that sort of stuff. What we've done is we've turned around and also modified some of the files as well. But there's a lot more you can do with this kind of thing. There's a whole heap of documentation in Winter here on how to do plugins and what have you. So there's so much stuff you can do in this. This is just a starter, and yeah, so. Now, yeah, looks like we're done. We've made our projects plugin from using our builder and done some modifications to it to sort of bend it to our will. And yeah, so next thing to do is pull all this information, set up some information in here, pull that all into a front end. But that's going to be for another video. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of it. And of course there's the good old YouTube thing of like, subscribe, leave a comment if you want. And I'll see you in the next one.